So doing something a little bit different this evening, where I'm going to be inviting four of the women from the community to talk about their kind of journey so far in the program. So I'm going to start with Dawn. Right. So Dawn, thanks for joining us. So yeah, if we start off by just telling everyone like when you started, how long you've been doing it for, and also why.
So I started in October, end of October 2024. So just over a year. And my main thing was I'd had health issues and I started to go into premenopause and started to pile weight on, and all the traditional things that I used to do just wasn't working. So I came across yourself and decided to have a chat with you, and then decided to join the program. And
And just for those watching as well, you didn't have any experience at all of strength training when you came on board, did you?
no, I was very nervous about it. I was of the opinion I'm not sure if I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to give it a try. Yeah.
And you talk about your health issues, but actually it was quite a serious health condition you'd had before you came on the program, wasn't it?
Yes, I'd had blood clots, and I was in hospital for quite some time, and I'm on blood thinners now. So yeah, it was quite serious, but
So it was a big thing coming on, wasn't it, to kind of, take
yeah,
that step. And
definitely.
and Dawn's lost 15 pounds, like 1 stone. So biggest myth busted since you joined, we all come into this program sometimes thinking a certain thing about this is the way we should be eating or this is, exercise. So for you, what was that big thing?
Well, I came from the world formerly of Slimming World, that you got to be on a restrictive diet, and that's just not true. It's about nutrition and understanding what you need to, what foods are good for you. And I also was of the opinion that you shouldn't really eat certain types of foods. So I just restricted myself too much. And I've opened up to other things and groups of foods that I know I can eat, because I was very wary of fat. But
Mm.
I know there are good fats. But in my book, it was like the mention of the word fat, don't eat it.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
how hard was that at first? Did you find that quite hard to be like, oh no, I can't do that?
Yeah, because you have to reprogram yourself because it was years of thinking that way. So it was difficult to let go at first, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And how has that changed? Do you feel quite liberated now in terms of
Yes, I
yeah,
do.
yeah,
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 definitely. Yeah.
yeah. And any other kind of what's the hardest obstacle that you've had to overcome in this program?
Eat more, especially when you said to me, you're not eating enough. I was like, I'm eating a lot. I'm full. I can't eat anymore. But you was like, no, you need to eat more. You're not, to be able to do the workouts and things. So yeah, getting used to that. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And then how has it left you feeling? I mean, Dawn came into the program. I can't remember what weights you had. You had very little weights, and now you've got a deadlift bar and a number of kettlebells.
Yeah.
We started Dawn off on a body weight program, didn't we? And it's
Yes.
completely changed. So how do you feel now about it all?
Yeah, good. My confidence has grown. I like doing the weights. If anybody asks me for a Christmas, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? I'm actually asking for weights now. Yeah, so I've built up slowly, and I'm getting more and more confident, and I'm starting to trust my body of what I'm capable of doing rather than listening to my head all the time, and, being more confident to give it a try.
Yeah, I suppose, would you say that was one of your light bulb moments actually? Because that is, I think, a difficult thing for women if they've not done strength training before, is to be like, I can do it.
Yeah, it was because also my main light bulb moment was realizing that exercise is not a punishment for eating food. exercise shows you what you're capable of doing. So that was, I always thought I've got to go and exercise because I've eaten this or I've done this. But now I know that's just not the case.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Okay, thanks for joining us, Dawn.
Okay, all right.
Um, so we've got Kate is going to come on. So Kate has you've been in this for 12 weeks, so lost 5 pounds, 3 centimeters off your waist, 8 centimeters off your hips. So yeah,
Right.
when did you, well, you started 12 weeks ago. So what's the biggest, and maybe explain a little bit more about what because we had quite a heart to heart when we took you on board about what your kind of real why was as well.
Yeah, I'd had a bit of a lifestyle change, I suppose. I'd lost my horse about just over a year ago, having had him for 20 odd years, and it's a complete and utter lifestyle change. My days completely changed. I wasn't going out at 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night and looking after him, and I just completely. I suppose it was a grief thing. Nothing was how I was expecting it to be, and then you start. I know some people would eat. I stopped eating, but the weight was still piling on, and I just wasn't moving enough, and I just lost all confidence and sort of get motivation to do anything at all, really. So
Yeah.
I needed something. I needed some sort of structure to get back into feeling how I always used to feel.
Yeah, yeah. And what was the biggest myth for you, busted since joining the program?
Yeah, it's the same as Dawn. I think really, it's like I'd never really. The main thing is that I'd never really had a problem with weight. I'd always relatively. I suppose I was doing a lot of exercise
Mm.
just generally throughout the day. So if I thought, oh, I'm putting on a little bit of weight, I'd just not eat very much for a couple of days, and it would all fall off. And it just doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anymore. So I was also, brought up in the 70s and 80s, and it's diets this, just stop eating that, stop eating this. And I think the same thing, like Dawn said, I can't believe that I was actually being told to eat more and I was still losing weight. And I'm still having issues with eating more. I'm still not
Yeah.
eating
It's a
enough.
work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm full. I'm not sure how I can eat more, but it's definitely something that's opened my eyes to, it's not about restriction, and it doesn't work anymore anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. And have you noticed that it has given you more energy actually from eating?
yes, it has definitely. Yeah. And I do notice I've been trying to think about it over the last couple of weeks of when I don't eat very much or when I eat something that is not, if I don't have enough protein, probably, then I do start to feel a bit down and a bit, unenergetic. So it definitely has much more of an impact on my state of mind than I ever thought it did,
Yeah,
really.
that's the really interesting connection to draw from it. And I think people forget that actually, not enough food affects your energy, not having enough energy affects your mood, and you kind of don't kind of often put the two and two together. And Kate's done a great job, but her program is set in the gym and a bit at home, is it? What
Mainly it's a gym, really.
mainly in the
Yeah,
gym?
I don't have any weights at home, so.
Yeah, so you've also achieved great progressive overload as well. So how difficult or not have you found that?
It's a mindset thing. I think that's one of your questions said, what have you learned about yourself? And I think I've discovered that actually I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I do not want to fail. So I haven't been pushing myself enough because I'm thinking, oh, well, I can do that. So I don't want to try in case I can't do like a bit heavier or something. So when I did that last bench testing thing, my husband was there to catch the weights that I couldn't. If I suddenly decided I couldn't do
Had
it,
to bail,
and I
yeah.
did. I did actually do much more than I thought I could, and it's good. That does make you feel, oh wow, I can actually do it. I'm much
Yeah.
stronger than I thought I was.
Yeah, and for those who are listening who don't understand progressive overload quite yet, it's
Totally. Yeah.
basically you're increasing the weights that you use, eventually every set, but certainly every week, because that's the only way you get stronger. If you just lift the same weights, you're maintaining, so you really need to kind of increase, which if you don't know about that yet, we will be going into. And so that was the hardest obstacle, would you say? That was the mindset around that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yes, I still think that food is an issue, but that's like an ongoing thing. But I think
Yeah.
the fact that I've realised that actually it doesn't matter if you can't do it. It's not it's not the end of it. It's just a little tiny setback. Think about it, carry on,
Yeah.
try again, basically. Which I think I was a bit sort of reluctant to do that.
Yeah. And light bulb moment, or was that kind of
I
related to
think that
that?
was it. I
That
think
was the
that's it,
light bulb
really.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. And the other thing, of course, is that you had hip pain, and you're now finally, it's beginning to change, isn't it?
Yes, I think. I mean, to be perfectly transparent, I have had a steroid injection to
Okay.
try
Yeah.
and like stave off actually having to have a hip replacement. But I am able to do a lot more now, and I think doing all this exercising means that hopefully I won't have to have another one too
Yeah.
soon, and I can keep that sort of going in the future and not actually have to end up having a replacement for a few more years, really.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Thanks, Kate. And we'll bring on Heidi, I think. Heidi. So yeah, again, same thing. When did you join, and kind of what was your kind of major reason for joining?
So I joined the program the 1st of September this year, 2025, following a little mini break with my son. And I just felt very frumpy, and not the body that I previously had was on display, and something had to be done. I got a bit, I don't know, I think I got a bit shocked myself, really. So yeah, I decided to be proactive and do something about it.
Yeah, and actually in 8 weeks, Heidi's lost like something like 5% body fat at 8 to 9 pounds. And what's really interesting about Heidi's pictures, actually, which I've noticed with some of the other women as well, is posturally. And that's another reason why I get you guys to take pictures. I know lots of you are like, oh, I hate the pictures, but actually I'm looking at your biomechanics, looking at your muscular balance for me to help coach you. And Heidi's pictures posturally, her upper back's completely changed, hasn't it? You
Mm,
had a slight kind of kyphosis, which means like a slightly curved back, which lots of us can get
yeah,
from sitting at the computers all the time, and that's completely gone, hasn't it?
yeah,
In
yeah.
eight weeks.
It's amazing. It's brilliant. And it's those pictures. I mean, I've never took pictures of myself in whatever state of health I've been, whatever fad I've been on in the years gone by. So taking pictures is really helpful, isn't it? So
Yeah. And so what's the biggest myth for you that you've busted in your head since joining the program?
well, I've never ever done a calorie counting diet ever before, so I had no idea what I was actually consuming before you give me those numbers. And I first looked at those numbers and I thought, oh my God, that doesn't look like a lot actually, because I thought I must have been eating way more than that to have put on the weight in the first place. But when you break it down to putting those calories into really nice, good food, like everybody else has said, you feel full, like you go, oh, this is amazing, it's great food, and I'm feeling full. So
Yeah.
so that was the big myth bust.
Yeah, so maybe would you say it's more of an understanding of the macronutrients, the three
Yeah,
different macros that go into your food rather than just
yeah,
one macro?
yeah,
Yeah. And then
absolutely.
hardest obstacle for you that you've had to overcome in the 8 weeks? It's been quite short so far.
Yeah. I think initially it was probably how am I going to incorporate the food into everybody in the household, like most women, families, etc. But they put it on my Wednesday win today. They've sort of gone, well, what you having? We'll just have that. And if they want to bulk it out with something out, add other bits. So that's really worked. So you can add it into your everyday meals
Yeah,
with your
so
family.
I'm sure there's loads of women listening onto this actually who are really interested in that bit. So what do you mean from your perspective of like what are they adding in, and like
So
what kids have you got? Have you got boys? You got girls?
yeah, I've got a 15-year-old boy and an 18-year-old girl,
Yeah.
and they are, but they go to the gym, they do all the things that they should be doing. And my son would eat you out of house and home, but he's really happy to have, like tonight, we've had some nice chicken and veg and rice, and he's just had a bit of extra rice, extra carbs with his, because he's obviously doing that. My daughter just eats the same as me, really, but it's he's like, what's your main thing, and I'll add around it, and he's getting quite handy in the kitchen too, so it's helped them embrace food and get into the
Yeah.
swing of what's good and what's nutritious and all that. So it's been a win-win, really.
Yeah. Brilliant. And that's a really good point to make as well with any of the recipes in the Kickass community or things that you make yourself. I often get this question about how to make it family friendly, and I'm like, well, unless what do I sometimes think, well, what do you mean? Are you meaning you want chips in there, or it is a case of like what's healthy for you is healthy for your children? So
Yeah.
just add a bit if they need more stuff than
Yeah.
you, kind of thing. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add that we've not covered?
Only that, before I joined this program, my main form of exercise was running. So like this year, and I'd said to you, Rachel, beginning, I've done 2 ultras this year. I did a lot of running, but it was not having the impact on my body anymore that it did in my 20s and 30s. And strength training is definitely the way to go. So if I needed any encouragement that is it, I mean, the proof is in today's pictures, really, aren't there? So like the strength training has been absolutely key.
Yeah. And for somebody like yourself, and I'm sure there's some other people on here who have got in the past that serotonin boost and endorphins from running, how have you found that switch to strength training? Obviously, we're not saying we're cutting out running entirely, but have you found that you've got that kind of beginning to get that same sense?
Yeah, the first couple of weeks were tricky, I have to say, because I thought to fit everything in and do it properly, I just really focused on the strength training, and I sort of cut out a lot of the running and stuff. And I just thought, I didn't feel like I was doing much, because I wasn't hot and sweaty all the time, and out for hours and all the rest of it. But just stick with the program would be all I'd say. And now I'm adding in runs, and my running feels stronger. I'm more upright running, and everything just feels better. So
yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. I feel like I'm a game show host. Okay, Lisa. So yeah, Lisa, you've been explain. Lisa's lost 19 pounds, 4% body fat, which is an enormous amount. And when did you join the program?
I joined in May.
Yeah, so that is May, June, July, August. Yeah, about 6 months. 6 months. So yeah, biggest myth boost busted for you?
I think, like everybody said, it's the food. It's the food again. I was brought up in the 70s and the 80s, and the low fat thing, eating more fats, has always been a challenge for me. I'm like, oh no. It's been the food.
Yeah. So would you say that was one of the barriers to get over then as well? Like the anxiety around that surely can't be right, that I can eat more and
definitely.
Yeah.
I think you, in one of my first feedbacks, you said you're eating enough to feed a 10-year-old child. And I honestly thought that breakfast was a good sized breakfast. And now when I look at how much I'm eating at breakfast, it wasn't enough.
Yeah. And has that changed your energy for you as well, do you think?
Massively. And in fact, it's changed the whole day. Having a good breakfast, so I would quite often have 2 cups of coffee, go to work, and then be starving by 11, have a bacon sandwich, then a scone, and I would just be chasing that carb high all day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Massively. And again, similar to Dawn, when you came on the program, you'd done some strength work before, hadn't you? But you came with anxiety because you had a back problem, didn't you? So that had given you some fear around movement. So how did you kind of overcome that?
I think because I've been told by a doctor that the best thing I could do was strength training, to have strong glutes and a good core, and it would hold everything in place. And I knew that from the last time I did it. So it's that protective thing. I just had a flare before I came on the program, and it lasted 2 years, and it was pretty painful.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back there. So yeah, it's to protect my back, really.
Yeah.
I'm very careful in what I do.
Yeah. But you've had no flare-ups, and how do you feel yourself that you've obviously built your strength, changed your body composition? How has that changed your energy, how you feel? Do you feel more empowered?
I feel massively more empowered. I can change the cat litter, 30 litres of cat litter, no problem. I can carry my work backpack because I do a lot of walking with work. And at first it used to feel really heavy because it's got a laptop and books and paperwork and all sorts in there, lunch, water bottles. And now I just fling it on my back and I can march around.
Yeah. And you've gone back to cycling as well, haven't you? You've started cycling and things.
Started cycling very tentatively. Yeah. I must admit, I used to love cycling when I was younger, but I lost my confidence with it. But yeah, Off-road cycling, that's what I'm doing at the minute.
Yeah. And is there anything else you'd say to anybody watching now that was difficult for you that you've overcome during the program?
I think life's, doesn't it? And I've had some tricky things to deal with during this program, but I just feel don't leave everything up to motivation.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's been discipline. Getting in, like tonight, I just got in, took my work clothes off, got straight into my gym gear and got the workout done before I sat down, because as soon as I sit down, I'm just going to watch telly or do
game
school.
over. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Thanks, Lisa, for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah.